You guys beat out a very significant album and a very significant band at one year at the Grammys.
You're referring to Abbey Road and the Beatles?
Yes.
Yeah. There would have been no Blood, Sweat, and Tears without the Beatles. I think that listening to early albums by the Beatles, is the White Album and Sgt. Pepper, and Revolver in particular, where they really started to use orchestral concepts, whether this was George Martin's influence or not, but they were using very sophisticated musical concepts. Prior to that, rock and roll was three chords and, Little Richard and Chuck Berry. And these guys opened my eyes to the fact that educated musicians could really have a voice in this new music. And that's what Blood, Sweat, and Tears was all about. But the Beatles were 5 years ahead of us in that concept. I think they opened a lot of our eyes to the fact that it wasn't just, what was that great Chuck Berry line? You buy a guitar in a week or two, learn how to play it in a day or two, and then you're a rock and roll star, That didn't get it anymore.
Yeah.
There was a whole new generation of musicians coming out. They were coming out of the music conservatories now. They were coming out of Juilliard with master's degrees.
Yeah.
And just like you and me, they grew up with Chuck Berry and Aretha Franklin and Ray Charles, And they started to make their impact known on music. Once that cat was out of the bag, it was never the same again. And the Beatles were very much responsible for that.
Did you get to hang with any of them ever? Did you meet them?
Never did meet a Beatle.
Okay.
Actually, I opened for the Rolling Stones here in Toronto at Maple Leaf Gardens before Blood, Sweat, and Tears. The David Clayton Thomas and the Fabulous Shays. We actually opened for the Stones at Maple Leaf Gardens. That was one of our first big gigs, so got to meet them. But no, never did get to meet a Beatle.
Yeah. What about Woodstock? What was that like, that whole experience? Did you?
It was a very confusing, chaotic, crazy event. It was 600,000 people in a plowed field outside of New York City. There wasn't enough porta potties. It was pouring rain. We were in mud up to our asses. The fans had knocked down the fences, so there was nobody paying for tickets. So none of the bands got paid.
You didn't get paid?
Of course, nobody got paid. Woodstock.
What did you guys play for?
We were one of the highest priced acts on the festival because we had 3 songs in the top 10 at the same time at that point, and I believe we got 12.5.
12.5. 12,500?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a serious payday for back then.
Huge.
That is huge for back then.
In those days, that was huge.
Yeah.
But of course, we didn't get paid. But then nobody got paid. There was no money.
Right. So you didn't.
The fans had knocked down the fences. Nobody was paying for their tickets. The promoters didn't have any money. So they locked themselves in a trailer where the managers were all out beating on the trailer doors. We want our money. And it was crazy. It was madness.
Yeah.
It was 3 days of madness and craziness. The remarkable thing about Woodstock, of course, was I would defy you to put 600,000 people anywhere in a field for 3 days with virtually no police presence and not one reported incidence of violence.
Yeah. Pretty incredible, isn't it?
Nobody got hurt.
Now, what you're doing, you've decided to come out and take on this symphony tour. Now, you've taken this other places, have you not? Like you've worked with the Berlin Symphony. Is this the same tour or no?
No, I'm not touring anymore.
Okay.
I stopped touring almost a decade ago.
Okay.
I'm only doing a few select concerts and things that I want to do. I've spent most of the last year writing the book. The year before that, I spent recording the Evergreens album with Doc Riley, the late Doug Riley.
Yep.
And my days of being on the road and touring are over. I don't ever intend to do that again. I've been doing it for the last 40 years.
Yep.
Enough is enough.
Yep. There's a time where they all kind of just go, okay.
And so now I only want to do special things, and performing at Massey Hall with the Toronto Symphony Orchestra qualifies as a very special thing. To me, especially since I've played most of the great concert halls in the world, from Royal Albert Hall to Carnegie Hall, and have never played Massey Hall, which is my hometown music cathedral as far as I'm concerned. I can remember playing the bars on Yonge Street, playing those 5 shows a night in those seedy strip joints and going, man, someday I'll play Massey Hall, you know?
Yeah. I felt the same, went through the
We
same
all
thing.
did.
Yeah.
It's one of the great music theaters of the world.
And that's February 12th and 13th, by the way.
February 12th and 13th, Valentine's Day weekend, folks. Bring somebody you love. We're excited about it. It's a great program, and it's a wonderful orchestra. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed working so far with the people of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. Yeah. They're not the old conservative, stodgy TSO anymore.
Yeah.
This is a new orchestra, and as I say, rejuvenated is the word.
Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate
talking with you, Kim. Nice to meet you
Good
at
talking
last.
with you, David.